Hello everyone. In this video, I will explain you what do you mean by message authentication code, that is MAC, and nested MAC. So this message authentication code, it is a short piece of information which is used for verifying the sender as well as the receiver. It also used to verify the authenticity of the message as well as integrity of the message. So these are the two properties, that is authenticity, and the second one is integrity. So these two properties will be verified with the message authentication code. This is used to confirm that the message came from the intended source as well as intended sender, and that has not to be altered during the transit. So for example, this is the message and that is sent from the sender to the receiver. So what do you mean by authenticity? Sender ensures that they are sending the data to the correct receiver, and receiver ensures that they are receiving the data from correct sender, that is legitimate sender. So both the parties are authenticated by itself. That is called as authenticity. And what do you mean by integrity? Whenever sender will send a message that is ABC from the sender to the receiver, then during the transit, this message will not be altered. So this message will not be modified during the transit. So same data that we have sent from the sender, that will be received at the receiver side. That is called as the integrity of the message. In CIA trade, we already knows that C for confidentiality, I for integrity, and A for availability. So confidentiality, integrity, and availability. These are the three properties of CIA trade. So here we are ensuring that in case of message authentication code, we are ensuring the authenticity and the integrity of the data with the help of using this message authentication code. So now you can see in this diagram, there are two users, that is sender and the receiver. This Alice is the sender and this Bob is the receiver. And they are transferring the data with the help of this insecure channel. But due to message authentication code, they are ensuring that authenticity and integrity of the message. So MAC is using the secret key between the two parties, that is between sender as well as receiver, so that the third party does not possess what are the contents of that particular message. So here Alice have their own key as well as the content of the message. They are using the hash function on that data. So whenever they are using the hash function on that data, that is h of m, the hash value will be calculated. So this message authentication code will be considered as a hash value. So this MAC value, that is our hash value, will be sent to that data with attached to our message. So for example, this is our message and we are generating the hash value, that is our h of m. So what we are doing? Our message plus our hash value. Both the values are appended together and this whole data can be sent to your receiver side. So you are not sending this message as it is. We are sending the message as well as their hash value, and that hash value will be calculated with the help of this hash function. So now you can see here, How we can generate this message authentication code? With the help of hash function, we have generated this message authentication code, and now here we have appended this message plus MAC, that is message authentication code, and this data is sent over the internet with the help of insecure channel. Whenever Bob receives that message, that time what will happen? He will receive the message in the form of message plus their hash value, that is their MAC value, and with the help of hash function, again they will generate their message as well as MAC value. So they will separate the message as well as the contents of the MAC, and then whatever the MAC is received from the sender side and whatever the MAC value that is generated by the receiver side, both the values will be compared. If both the values will be same, this message will be accepted by the receiver side. Otherwise, it will be rejected. So what is the procedure behind that? Whenever we are sending the data from sender to receiver, so in the process of MAC, the first step is what Alice can do. First of all, Alice will take the message. He will generate the message authentication code with the help of hash function. That is the first step. So Alice uses the hash function to create a MAC from the concatenation of the key as well as the message. So H of K and M. So we are using the key as well as our message, and with the help of this hash function, the hash value will be generated, and this hash value will be considered as a message authentication code. Now, Alice will send the message as well as MAC data. So message plus MAC will be sent to the Bob side. So what Bob can do? Bob will separate that data. So message plus MAC, that is sent from the Alice. So message and MAC, these two values will be separated by Bob. So now Bob will get the contents of MAC as well as contents of message. And whenever they have to decrypt their data, that time they are using again their key value. So now here, whenever Bob separate the message from the MAC, so we will get the separate copy of message as well as message authentication code. So now what will happen? He can make a new MAC from the concatenation of the message as well as the secret key. The same secret key will be shared between the sender and the receiver. So whenever sender will use that key here, that key, and whenever receiver will use that particular key for separating that message, this key will be same, and that is the shared secret key between both the sender and receiver. So now what is the next step? Bob will compare newly created MAC and the one that is received, and that is received from the sender. So here this MAC will be received from the sender. So this MAC and this MAC, that is generated by the receiver, and this will be generated by the sender, that is sent by the sender. This will be compared. After comparing, if two MAC matches with each other, then message is authenticated and that has not been modified by any intruder. So here you can check if both the values are same, then this will be accepted, otherwise it will be rejected. So that is the procedure that will be happen in the message authentication code. So these are the total 6 steps that are included in the process of message authentication code. So what do you mean by message authentication code? It is a piece of information which is used for verifying the authenticity and the integrity of the message. In the next video, I will explain you what do you mean by nested MAC and what are the steps that are involved in the nested MAC with the help of concept of hashing.